everyone. Welcome back to the Pot of Gold podcast. This is where W-2 grinders and real estate hustlers learn how to build lives of freedom, purpose, and lasting wealth. Today's guest, David Aurbeck, is the founder of PLH Exclusives, a construction company focused on building healthy, high-performance homes that prioritize sustainability, craftsmanship, and comfort. David got his start on the family farm, but he took a brief detour through the traditional workforce and then carved out his own path as a general contractor since 2016. Now he's leading projects across Illinois and Wisconsin with clear mission: enhance lives to purpose-driven building. Whether you're looking to build a business that serves people or scale one that doesn't drain you, David's story offers practical insight into what it really means to create value that lasts. David, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really kind of excited to hear what your story is. This is kind of an interesting thing. I do know a couple general contractors, but what exactly drove you to this kind of a niche?
Well, at the beginning, it was, kind of that farm boy mentality to where if I need something, I just make it or build it myself, right? So I started out by getting married, right? And like everybody else, they're like, okay, well, I'm married now. Where am I going to live? And I found a builder actually that I wanted to get a hold of because my wife and I were like, oh, maybe we'll build a log home. And so this builder that has built log homes before, he introduced me to a couple companies, and I went through those companies and found one that I felt like I liked and could trust. And from there, we started building our own house with the help of this builder. And then I pretty much general contract the whole thing. Figured out how to do it all. I'm pretty picky, so it was just a lot of research. And after building our own house, the company asked us to be a rep for the log home company, which was pretty cool. But I asked him, I was like, could I finish my house first, right? They had a rep like years ago, but my area, I guess, was vacant for a while. Okay. And so they saw everything that I was doing, all the research I was doing, all the stuff I was doing to build my house, and just in the design work when I was helping design the house. And they wanted me to come on. And so for and this was about 2011. Right. So this was after like the housing thing went down. Okay. So
a couple years after, huh?
Yeah. And so at that point, it was until 2016 when I was, really prompted to start a business of my own from a customer that come through the house and said, yeah, I'd love to build a log home, but I'd like you to build it. Right? Like, well, I guess I could, I did this and you like this house that I showed him my house. Right. And from there, I just hustled and built my own website. I spent that whole winter building the website to essentially get my name out there, and started out with some insurance jobs, some jobs for some cities, doing restorations on certain like convention properties and stuff like that. And then it just grew from there to doing restorations, new construction, and general contracting.
Very interesting. I've found a very similar vein that kind of goes through all my interviews, is that people find a need and they fill that need.
Yeah.
It's interesting that yours started with the fact that you needed a house to live in because you got married.
It was my need.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So I like that. I've always liked log cabins myself, and it's definitely something that's it's got its own flavor to it, right?
Yeah,
like a log cabin or a brick house or some other kind of a style, but there's definitely a place for that particular branding. Mm-hmm. So what kind of problems did you run into as you were trying to build your business? Did you run into supply problems? Did you have other kinds of issues that you had to figure out?
My biggest issue was I really didn't know anybody that was down the line other than my builder that built for him. But he was almost kind of phasing out, right? He was getting to the point where he was looking to see if someone else could kind of take over his business. And he was probably like 3 hours away or something. And so for me, it was finding a mentor in my area that actually had the successes that I really wanted, and or just knowing to look for a mentor, which is the big thing. And I grew, and it was also, and this is a big thing, I was in the farm boy mentality. The same way that I got into this wasn't the way that I needed to grow it. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs find the biggest struggles, because to be an entrepreneur, you have to find the urge to figure it out on your own, to get started and to do it and have that self-motivation, right? But after, it's 100% opposite. You have to rely on finding people that have what you want in the future and copy and pasting that. That set me back years.
So find somebody who's already being successful, copy what they're doing, and then maybe you can add some flavor to it, but you don't deviate from that until you figure out how it works.
Yes, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just take somebody else's wheel and just spin it your own way. Just like Dan Martell says, right? Like if everybody thought that they had to do something new and inventive to be successful in business, it's almost like saying that a country music singer needs to have a different song, right? There's still trains, planes, and automobiles, right, that are being sung about in country music. But the reason why we listen to all those new songs isn't because it's something new in the country music world. It's just there's a new person singing it and we relate to those people. So it's them spinning their own story into the same old song.
Yeah, I think that's something that Dan Martell's taught before, is that people have this idea that you have to do something unique. Someone is already doing that, so I can't do it.
Right.
Or I can't get started. But different people talk to different people. And so maybe Dan Martell's for specific people, and maybe David Goggins is for a different type of people. And so that applies to you as well. You go out there and you put out the kind of business that you want to build. You're going to have your own flavor just because you as a person are unique. And so certain people are going to hear and want to work with you rather than somebody else.
Right. And there's a lot of people in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So the person that you're looking at and saying, oh my gosh, man, why not? Why me? Because of them. Well, they can't help all the people. All the other people need you. So you should ask yourself, why not me? Right? Like that reel that Dan Martell put out too, which is amazing question to ask yourself. Why not you? Why not you? You see all these people that are successful in the business world, that are starting their own businesses, right? And a lot of them, you're like, who is this joker making all this money or doing the things that I want to do? I'm better than him. Yeah, you are. You most likely are, right? I heard something, and this is in the lines of more of like a purpose-driven, a God-given calling. And this is actually really what got me solidified in the niche that I'm in right now, is I heard someone, a preacher from California actually, and he said, what do you complain about most? Typically, what you complain about most is your calling. Are you the guy that's always frustrated with, oh my gosh, why are all these people leaving Christianity, right? Why are all these people going down the wrong path? It's like, well, maybe you're called to be a pastor, right? What if you're complaining about, oh, the streets are dirty in LA, right? And everybody's got to clean up the streets and the crime and everything. Well, maybe you were called to be a police officer, right? That energy, that anger that you have, and turn it into your calling, right? Your complaint should be your calling, just like your pain should be your purpose.
Yeah. So you see that particular need very clearly. That's why you're complaining about it all the time. And so you have unique insights into it, because maybe someone else, they see things and the thing that annoys you so badly doesn't really bother them. And so, but they have something else that really bothers them. And so that's what they should focus on. Yeah.
It's what you feel other people should do. That's what you should be doing. And it's biblical too. It's very, very small. But when the Apostle Paul talks to the people and essentially, because right, Apostle Paul was single, right? He never got married. And he says in the Bible, right up front, if you don't get married, that's fine. You'll actually probably be a little happier, as I am, if you don't get married. But if you can't, resist, then get married. And if you dive deep into that, like Paul was single And he thinks because he's single, man, everybody should just be single, like I am. Just like you should ask yourself, what is the thing that you complain about the most, or you think other people should be doing more of, or other people should be doing less of? Maybe that's something that you're called to do. And so when people are really thinking about, man, I really want to be an entrepreneur, I want to do something, but I don't really know what I should be doing. First, look at what you complain about, right? And then what is it, that trifecta of what does the world need? What are you good at? And what can you make money at, right? There was a term for that, right? What is that term?
I've heard a couple different phrases for that. One of them is the blue flame.
Okay.
So kind of combine everything together and it accelerates it. I've also heard someone call it a bullseye.
Okay.
And so I guess I don't know if those are either the terms that you're looking for, but I've heard it referred to in different ways.
I've heard of one recently, which just goes in line to what I am specifically focusing on now because of my pain is the perfect storm, right? So the reason why, and maybe this will kind of help some people too kind of find direction, because it wasn't until like a year or so ago where I really found my niche within my niche. And honestly, I feel like this is my purpose. So my wife has been going through some health things for quite a long time. It was even before we got married. It started with the crappy apartment that was moldy that we started in when we got married. But a lot of things have been adding up. And when it comes to mold, it could be something that can be seen as other stuff because of what mold can do to your immune system. It just kind of builds up, right? So she's been having, health problems, whether it be hormonal stuff or just, with certain things, not necessarily. Other people on the outside kind of see it as allergies, right? And that's the easy thing to say. But it's been the perfect storm of maybe it was kind of COVID, right? Where it just a lot of that stress and even getting sick with COVID and also the things built up, like her bucket got full. And once your bucket gets full, it's the perfect storm. And she just it just went overboard with all of her health issues to where she's just been like on the couch, just has no life, like can't live life. And it really hit me when I going into the Facebook groups of all these mold toxicity things. You're like, oh my gosh, people are dying and no one knows about it because they've isolated themselves. And so as of about a year or so ago, I'm like, you know what? I need to focus more than just log homes. PLH exclusives come from perfect log homes into PLH exclusives to where we're exclusively focusing on healthy, high performance homes to help people have essentially a sanctuary to live in, right? Because one of the things that my wife was really high in is a mycotoxin from a mold that comes from corn and soybeans and wheat, right, in agriculture. Well, we live in central Illinois, so you can't really get away from that when you walk outside, but you can do something with your home and how you build homes to create a sanctuary from that so that you can at least have a place to rest, right? Not just sleep better, but have a place to breathe better. And so my main focus now, and I know so much, like I can't even build regular anymore because I'd be lying to people. That's where we've come about with just focusing on people's health and making sure we build homes, not just to code, not just energy efficient, because sometimes that's even worse in a way, but focus on your health and really narrow down, do these people have certain sensitivities? Whether, speaking of log homes, there are some people that have a sensitivity to pine, which would not be good if you did a full log home, right?
Yeah.
I can build homes a lot of different ways. One of which I can build a log home healthy, but it's all coming down to the homeowner. So I'm really passionate about making sure that people don't go through what my wife had to go through, literally losing years of her life by just struggling with this.
Kind of ties into what you said earlier, that your pain is your purpose.
Yeah. Well, her pain is actually my purpose, right? I've felt it through her, but I've taken advantage, I guess, and not just to help her through what she's going through, but knowing how there's other husbands, other wives, and other, spouses that have people that are going through this and might not even know it's mold. because it's one of those, oh, it's snake oil. No, it's really proven now. There's a lot going on, and people building energy efficient homes the wrong way is actually inducing a lot of these mold symptoms in people because they're trying to save $1 on energy, but they're doing it the wrong way and actually creating an environment that's inductive to mold growing in their homes. And it's horrible.
Makes me wonder how things went down with my sister-in-law. We lost her when she was about 20 years old.
Oh, man.
She got really sick, and her lungs eventually failed her.
Oh, my gosh.
It just makes you question,
I know. Man, I've gone through a lot of rabbit holes to find out what was that, because, it takes years of guessing, right, to know what's going on. And finally, we've narrowed it down. Actually, Dr. Pampa is in Park City, Utah. Is that pretty close to you?
A little bit farther away from where I'm at, but I know where it's at.
Yeah, so Dr. Pampa is actually now helping us go through a 12-month program of detoxification the right way. And that's where we're going. So, yeah. So my entrepreneur journey started pretty rocky and come from a lot of different areas. And it went up and it went down. I've had 15 to 18 people working for me. Mm-hmm. Now I'm down to no employees, all kind of very loyal subcontractors. And within my team of my corporate team and shareholders, we are now, well, we got one employee. We got our office assistant, our executive assistant, whatever you want to call it. And then our other guys are independents, but work with us solely as project managers to get our jobs done. But it's been a lot. The other GCs that you probably know is just like, oh my gosh, you want to, because there is a special place for general contractors. And I'll tell your audience this, that some people think, oh my gosh, why do I need a general contractor, right? Well, because subcontractors, that's why. Because there's a lot of people that, that they try to do, they're specialized in one thing, and we need people like that, right? We need people like that. It's just like you thinking that you don't need a hospital to have a doctor perform surgery, right? The hospital is the one that organizes everything, schedules everything, finds the right people and finds the right time and all that stuff. And then the doctors are essentially the subcontractors of hospitals. That's the same thing we do with your house. We are constructing and bringing together hundreds of components and a lot of people and a lot of different finances and materials. And we're bringing that all in to suit exactly what you want. And so general contractors have to specialize in being generalized, which is hard. Especially when, you have a business coach, right, that is telling you to, stop starting to scale chaos. And I'm like, yeah. I wouldn't have a business if I didn't have chaos. You know what I mean? But at the same time, right, if you can organize and use your chaos and the things that are going wrong in society as your competitive advantage, then you can go pretty far.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's really interesting how everything came together. My curiosity is kind of piqued with this. What do you expect the future of your business to look like over the next 5 years?
So my BHAG, right, big, hairy, audacious goal is to, I consider it as something like we want to be the Chick-fil-A of healthy high performance, right? Go. Where it's kind of like it's a franchise, right? Mm-hmm. And we're Christian based, so we rely a lot on that, not just to not find great people to work with, right? Because it really narrows down finding good people if they have a baseline or a foundation of faith, right? And so having project managers essentially in every state, essentially franchise our expectations to help people where they are, not just hoping that everybody moves close to us so we can work with them here. And I've worked with or found people that have also reached out to me from Georgia, California, Colorado, and I can't really help a lot of those people right away other than with like some design and some consultation. But I would love to have some boots on the ground everywhere, right, with people that have the same expectations as our company to be able to bring people healthy, high performance homes so they don't have to feel like they're trapped and And even apartments too. We're moving into and working with developers to leverage our time and people's money so that we can lower the cost of having a healthy, high performance home. Because sometimes it's just people in apartments have to just deal with the stuff that's in the apartment or not known what's in the apartment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get that. Been in my share of apartments, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so how do you deal with that? Like, do you even know? And you're trying to raise a family in an apartment, and it's just like, you just kind of have to deal with it. And when it comes to health, man, it could cost you more than you think. Some people are like, oh man, I can't afford this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
can't afford not to.
You can't afford not to. Like if I could go back 10 years, right? November 12th, 2011 is when my wife and I got married. So go back, 10 plus years. If I could pay somebody $100,000 or more, right? I'd figure out how to make it. If I could pay them to take back for us to have the answers that we have now, to have those 10 some years ago, oh my gosh, that would have saved us way more than my wife can't have a job. Like she hasn't worked. She hasn't wanted to work because she wanted to stay home with the kids, right? But she couldn't go back to work. She was a CNA. She could not go back if she wanted to. How much money are you losing because of your health? And that's why I have on this is with entrepreneurs too. Like, man, if you don't have your health, that's why Dan says too, like cut the vices out. Leave the vices at home. Like you are an entrepreneur now. You are set to help people, right? You are called to be not just an employee. Like when you start a business, you're meant to help somebody, and you can't help anybody if you're dealing with your own problems. So cut those out of the way so you can help people. And it's just, you gotta realize that it's going to cost you a lot if you don't do the right thing. And so
sure. And I think it's important for people to remember that your body is the vehicle with which you move through the world. And so the better you can take care of it and the better it performs, it's going to have an impact on everything else in your life. And so if you can get that squared away, it's going to be a lot better for you, regardless of what you're doing. It doesn't matter whether it's enjoyment or work or anything that you're doing. Mm-hmm. Get that squared away. Figure it out. Definitely.
You remember the Tony Robbins quote?
Go ahead, share it.
I think it's actually on the website too. You can have 1,000 goals in life, but if you don't have your health, you just have one. Right? Yeah,
definitely. I think I've heard versions of that before. It's like a rich man has many goals, or an unhealthy man has but one.
Yeah.
It is healthy man.
Yeah. And see, Tony Robbins didn't probably invent that, but I'm hearing it from Tony Robbins, So, but it was his version, right? Be your own version of how you want to help people.
Definitely. And different people talk to different people. It was Mel Robbins, actually, that helped me start into my journey as an entrepreneur. Because she said something along the lines of, do it messy, do it imperfect, do it scared, but do it anyway. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I was caught up in this whole, it's got to be perfect mentality. And when I heard that, I realized, oh, duh, just go out and do the thing. Don't worry so much about the quality right now. You can make improvements along the way.
Right.
But I needed that permission, and she's the one that provided it. So I'm definitely grateful for her. She's never met me. I've never met her, but I heard something she said, and it hit it just right.
I had an Army, a Green Beret, tell me something too, and it's in those lines, because he's like, you got snipers, and you got infantry guys, you know what I mean? The sniper's like one bullet, one shot, right? But the Green Beret was just like, dude, sometimes it's not about hitting the target with one bullet. He's like, it's about throwing lead down range. Bullets flying over your head, you just keep throwing bullets down range, right? And you've probably seen those memes where someone's just flinging arrows at a target, right? And there's one person that's taking all the time to aim just perfect, and then maybe it kind of hits the arrow, where the other guy's just like, just throwing them, just seeing if it's gonna stick. And I'm the same way. I'm just like you. Like, man, I didn't want to start anything until it was just perfect, I'll start my business after I have my perfect website, you know what I mean? Everything lined up, because I don't want people to think that I'm doing something wrong, and then all of a sudden I got a bad brand, and then, dude, just get bullets down range. You know what I mean? And just, yep.
Definitely resonates, man. Wow. Cool. I was wondering, do you have any suggestions for people who are looking to get started in business? Maybe some resources they could go into, or books they could read, podcasts they could listen to. What suggestions do you have?
Well, the first one I can say that I wish that I would have read at the beginning. So before this, I was in like a leadership development group as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to read $5 a month. You know, it was a $5 a month thing. And, you know, we were listening to a bunch of motivational type stuff. And that really helped me. You've got to get your brain, your body will follow the brain, right? So you've got to get in your own head first, right? When I say find a mentor and listen to what they're doing, right? Find somebody that's where you want to be. And at the same time, realize that you are not where you want to be. So stop listening to yourself because you're not the person. Don't ask yourself questions, right? Find somebody that's ahead and go beyond ChatGPT, right? You can ask ChatGPT a lot of stuff, but you need that human interaction. You need to find 5 people that are in front of you. You need to go on Instagram and search whatever you're doing. So in my case, right, it's search healthy high performance homes. See what comes up, find the reels and the accounts that have the most views and the most activity and duplicate that in your own version. Right? Find books like Dan's, right? The Buy Back Your Time. Mm-hmm. This is and now I could tell you a lot of books that I read, you know, like the E-Myth and Robert Kiyosaki's, you know, Cash Flow Quadrant, a lot of books. I have a shelf full of books, but that is like an accumulation of all those in a very simple form. Not only is it good because he's got a workbook, like a worksheet that you can use with it, which I actually kind of use all the time. This is part of the worksheet. And then I kind of draw on it because I have my own stuff that I look at. And you can fill that. It really helps you work through the book. It is a textbook. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to read this. Not only that, but you can also be in the coaching program with Dan Martell. So the best advice, if I just have to give one, is find a coach. Find a coach that is where you want to be, but make sure that your coach, well, in my case, he needs to be grateful and gracious to all the gifts God's blessed him with, because you don't want to get to the top with riding on the coattails of someone, and then you get there and you're like, this guy's life sucks. You know what I mean? He's rich, you know, but he's been married 20 times. You know, his kids hate him if they even know him. You know what I mean? Like, find the person. Yeah. It's not just about money. And that's why I like Dan and there's some other people too that I kind of gravitate toward. But man, work on yourself more than you work on your business. Find somebody that does the same. That's just 10 years ahead of you.
Very excellent advice. And I like Dan myself because he talks about teaching people to build a business they don't grow to hate.
Yes.
I mean, that's the goal, right? You won't want to get 20 years into a career of entrepreneurship just to wake up and realize you hate your life. So
yeah.
That'd be terrible. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on the show today, David. I really appreciate all the value that you added. I do believe you mentioned something about a building sheet or what was it that you mentioned before the call? Yeah,
if there's anybody on here that has seen that they've maybe need to build a new home, whether it be a healthy home or just any of them. Either way, I have a build survey that I made up and I put on the website, and it really helps people walk through the questions that they should be asking, whether it's me or somebody else that's going to be building their house. Just knowing what questions to ask is a great place to start. So if someone wants to go on my Instagram, which is just my name, so Instagram is at David Aurbeck, so David, and then my last name Aurbeck, and hit follow. And then probably the best way is to just message Clover, right? So I know you got it from this podcast. And then I'll send you a build survey that I send all my clients, and it'll kind of help them walk through the questions that they should ask for building a healthy home. Amazing. I'll make sure to include that information in the YouTube description. So if you guys want to reach out to David for that build survey, you'll be able to click on that link in order to find him. And just get onto Instagram, send him a direct message. Make sure you use the word Clover, and they'll know that you came from the Pot of Gold podcast. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience before we end the call today?
No, I mean, I can't promise I'll answer every email either, but if anybody's got any questions concerning the construction industry or starting in that, then feel free to just reach out. And if I got some time, I'll try to answer that. Or better yet, I'll send you in a direction that can answer the question better than I can.
Incredible. Well, David, thank you so much for your time today. And I'd also like to thank everyone else who has tuned in to listen. This has been the Pot of Gold podcast, and we talk about finances, wealth generation, and real estate investing. So y'all have a good day now.